There we go. How about now? Can you hear me now? I feel like I'm in the commercial, the can you hear me now commercial. Gage, can you let me know if there is sound or not? Anybody out there? Is there life out there? Can anybody hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Make sure mic's going here. I'm getting a signal flow into the camera through HDMI. Yes, Gage says yes. We have I forget what word I was just going to use there. We are for sure that we have audio. So what are you guys up to? What are you doing today? Did you go out and go for a walk? Are you doing some of the things that we talked about yesterday? What are you guys doing? Put it in the comments. Thanks. I thought it was just me. Can hear you. Hello, hello, hello. Jim, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. Pam is back. Thank you guys. I have like groupies now. This is awesome. Thank you guys for coming back. I really appreciate it. So kind of what we're talking about today is webcam video, but this also applies to live streaming, and I'll get into why here in a second once we get started. But there's a lot of people right now that are homebound, and they're having to scramble to, do the things that they were normally going to do, but now over the internet via webcam. That's why I thought I would put this together. It's not going to be as long as, the other one, especially like the birding one that went almost an hour. But these tips are good tips if you ever have to, the video communication, this video chat, this way that we're communicating right now is becoming more and more of the norm. I know when I worked in IT before this, we would do video calls. I mean, I would have video calls almost every day. So, and that was years ago. So, I mean, it's just going to become more and more. Now that employers are seeing that work can get done in this fashion, I foresee more and more need for good webcam video. So I'm just going to share some tips with you. It could be used for live streaming, like I said, like what we're doing here, webcam video for meetings, or also just recording videos and tutorials. And again, maybe you have time now with a little bit of downtime that you want to start doing some YouTube videos, things like that. So in the comments, tell us where you're from, what you've been up to, and what you've been photographing recently. I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. Gage says, I can hear you. Thank you very much, Gage. Where's everybody from? We have 8 people on here. I'm not seeing any chats, guys. This is social. Even though we're doing it distance, we still got to be social. Let us know where you're coming from. We want to make sure that we are all one big community here. If you are on the website, I will tell you, we're still working on integrating comments. It's best if you hit up our Facebook page or go over to our YouTube if you want to ask questions and stuff like that. Or I'll have my email up there, so that way if you have questions afterwards, feel free to email me. Open book. I am an open book. So let's go ahead and get started. We are 2 minutes in. Number one thought about this entire presentation is you. Yes, you. Not the dog behind you. You need to take control. Everything that we're going to talk to is just taking control of different aspects of the video of what we're doing. If I looked at someone who has never had to communicate in this fashion via webcam, and I said, hey, for all of our work from this point forward, we're going to do via webcam, and that includes your sales presentations to that place where you normally do face-to-face business with. That's scary. I mean, you're just automatically thinking all these parts, or you're going to present, to a company. Well, now you have to live stream it. And I just need you to take care of that. I need you to do everything. And I would be freaked out. There's a lot that goes into it. And even like these live streams, we've been slowly like chipping away at it to get it to a point where it looks somewhat professional. I mean, I think it looks pretty professional. I mean, we're showing the screen, we're highlighting comments, we're doing some pretty cool stuff. But this did not happen overnight. It was slow. We added little parts. So today, my goal is you are a professional. I want you to look like a professional, and we're going to take control. We're going to take control of little tiny parts that all come together for a whole. And if you have absolutely any questions, feel free to put a message in the comments. Happy to help in any way I can. Some housekeeping notes. My friend Eeyore will be in the chat monitoring things. I will also be in there. They're popping up on my screen so I can kind of see what's going on. And I do apologize that I have to keep turning to you guys. There's a wall right here. So if I had my druthers, this is a very small room, I would be looking directly at you. So, and we're going to talk about that in this presentation, but I might have to blow out a wall if this goes any longer so I can get the view that I want. But at the store, we are still open. So the only day we're closed is Sunday. And What's important about that is, we've been deemed an essential business because we support you guys. We support photographers that are, photojournalists that are documenting this pandemic and things that are going on. Yesterday, we had 2 or 3 calls from the media asking if we had microphones. So, we are truly doing our best to support the photographic community. And then people that aren't photojournalists, that's why we're kind of filling in with this content, but we are still open. So if you need absolutely anything, let us know. We're open from 1 to 5, and we have curbside pickup. So it's like, we bring everything out to you. If you just want to pop your trunk, you can just throw it in your trunk. We don't even have to get close to you. We also offer free shipping on a lot of our items on our website. So feel free to take advantage of that. And if you go on our website, you'll see there's an option for curbside pickup, or when you get there, we can do payment there as well. So we are still open for you guys. Please let me know if there's a live stream that you guys want to see. I have ideas for the next couple weeks, and they're getting scheduled, and you'll see them pop up on Facebook and YouTube and things like that as I put them out there. But I want to make sure we're connecting. I mean, especially, Jim, Pam, all the people that have been, here for the last couple. I want to make sure that, you guys are my people. I want to make sure that I'm supporting you and what your needs are. So please let me know in the comments, or let me know via email. Hey, TJ, this is something I would love to hear a little bit more about. Be happy to help you out with that. And our goal is to do this every day at noon, with one exception. So guys, focus in on me right now. So tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have an awesome presenter. It's going to be more of a conversation. It's Paul Giroux. Paul Giroux is a Sony artisan. He's worked for, I don't want to say the wrong one. It's either the Tribune or the Chicago, was it the Chicago Times? I'm sorry, Paul. I don't remember which one it was. But he's covered national events. If you do a Google search for Paul Giroux, Gero, he's been in this industry for a very long time. And he's been a close friend of mine also for a very long time. We've done a podcast in the past before. We've just stayed in communication. He's just an awesome, awesome guy. And the reason he has to do it late tonight is because he's out shooting. He is out photographing right now, and I want to bring those images to you guys. He's doing this thing where he's doing family portraits, but at a safe distance. So these are these images are super powerful. Again, if you Google search his name, it's right on the front of his page where these images are. He's taking his creativeness. He did photos and weddings and video, but he used to be a photojournalist, and he's bringing those together with this project. So tonight at 9, I hope you join me. It's called Pints and Pixels, so you can bring your pint with you, if you will, as we talk about this project, the reason he started it, and kind of we're just going to have a conversation. Just like I had a conversation with him about 2 weeks ago, and we just talked for like an hour. And I'm like, Paul, I miss having this conversation. So I reached out to him a couple days ago, and he's going to jump on the live stream tonight. So I'm drinking a ton of tea right now to make sure I can stay awake, but don't miss it. Please, please, please don't miss it. It will be available afterwards, but we want your questions. We want to hear from you guys, kind of your thoughts and what you need. So that is our housekeeping. If you weren't here yesterday, PPA is doing this thing where all of their educational content is opened up for free for the next probably week and a half now. It's Thursday. But they have a ton of videos and a ton of content on building your business, on children's, newborn, marketing, weddings, senior, everything that you could think of, they have videos on there. And when I first started my career, I want to say the second month I was in business is when I joined the PPA, and I've been a member since. And it's done just so much for me in my business. If I was struggling with something, there was a community of photographers there to help. And they are photographers that have real businesses. So they are making money at this, which for me, I had a studio. That's who I wanted to talk to. I think sometimes with Facebook and social media, there's this kind of separation of people that are doing a business, just kind of a hobby for fun. Maybe they're, doing shoot and burn. And then there's this other level of photography that are, they have employees that, they have to make sure that they're keeping paid, and, they have to keep the studio doors open because they have a physical place. That's where you'll be able to talk to other people in that area. So highly recommend checking out PPA for their free content as well. So what are our goals for today? So the first two are very similar. My goal is to pull you away from everything that's going on, even if it's for an hour. This is strategically placed before we get the governor's update, because I want you guys to be so pulled into the ideas that we're talking about or trying these things, that you just forget about that stuff for, like today, probably half hour. Other days it's been an hour. Just kind of pull you away from that, because I think that there's a lot of negativity going around, whether it's politics, whether it's decisions that are being made. It's all outside of our control, and we've never been here before. So my goal is to pull you guys away from that. Also, get you motivated to try something new. I want you to get outside of your comfort zone. So I don't know if this video will have the audio, but this is our main thing today, is still going to send it.
I just woke up from the little nap. It's a little dark, but you guys silly? I'm still going to send it.
So if the audio did not come through, what he says is, I just woke up from a little nap. It's a little dark. Are you guys silly? I'm still going to send it. So, I mean, like, he had no thought of ever canceling anything or not doing something. He's still going to do it. And that's kind of how I feel about our topic today. And that is webcam video. So you just have to send it. You have to get yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there so that way you can start building content. The growth happens within you is once you're outside of that comfort zone. And being on camera is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Myself too. Like, I still get nervous when I do all of these things. But unless you try it, unless you put yourself out there, you're really holding yourself back, but you're doing a disservice by not putting yourself out there to help others. So if you do have information to share and you've been thinking about creating that YouTube channel, or again, you're doing this for work, and you've been the person that has the Post-it note over your webcam, this is a time to shine. This is the time for you to pull off that Post-it note and people go like, whoa, TJ, why does your video look better than everybody else's? And that's where I want to get you guys as professionals. I want you guys looking as good as possible. So also answer any questions that you guys have about webcam video or live streaming. Like, this isn't like an in-depth with live streaming, because honestly, that's a lot of like going into explaining feeds and stream keys and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's not important or we couldn't do it in this fashion, but right now I feel like this is the baby step. So if we have a bunch of people that understand this level, you're going to be able to do 75% of the live streaming that you see online. From there, it's just kind of extra things. And those extra things I talk about at the end of the presentation to give you links to those software titles and to learn more. But if you want to get on a call, we just put out our virtual one-on-one. So if you want to create an appointment just to talk about live streaming, go in there, put in your information. I'll be more than happy to jump on there. I love streaming. I love researching it. I honestly, this has been a work in progress since about a month or two before I came to Pixel Connection. I mean, I had the lights set up. I had all this. I've been practicing. So this is like my moment to shine. I'm super excited about live streaming. So let's get to the tips. Number one, if you want any of the resources, feel free to email me, sales or social at thepixelconnection.com. So what is the first step? So the first step or the first tip is to take control of your camera. So if you're not going to use your SLR camera, you're just going to use the built-in webcam on your camera, on your computer, or you're going to have an external webcam, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you find the software that comes with that camera so that way you can make changes. So as photographers, we're used to spinning the dials. We're used to moving our ISO, our the aperture, our shutter speed. We're used to having all those controls. And unless you download the software that comes with the camera, you're not really going to have those controls. So number one is take control of that camera so it's in more of a manual mode. Otherwise, if something, I think this camera might be on auto exposure. So if that was your webcam, what would have happened? It probably would have gone super, super bright because the light is changing in the scene. So if anything changes in the scene, your camera is going to try to, either get brighter or get darker. And you don't really want that. You want it to be in manual mode so it stays consistent and it stays looking professional. Number two is webcam. The second point I want to make is for Mac users. I put a link in the presentation. This is the tool that will give you access to those kind of webcam settings. So you'll be able to go in there with this app and kind of fine tune the built-in camera on your Mac, or if you have a third party as well. I suggest using the built-in photo booth or the Windows camera. So that way you can kind of get your view set up so you can see what your scene looks like. You can make sure that you are aligned properly. you can make sure that you are where you need to be with those apps before you go live. I would hate for you to go live and be like, oh, this isn't what I thought it looked like. It crops in a lot, or, you know, I thought it was going to be closer to my face. That's where using those apps is really going to help you kind of prep for your webcam, whether it's your meeting or a live stream. Mac users, we talked about that. If you can, I suggest using a tool. So like right now, we're going out of an EOS R. I have an HDMI cable coming down, and it's going into a the Blackmagic ATEM Mini. And what that does is it allows me to have multiple cameras if I want them. I did something last weekend where we did a band, so I brought in like all the different feeds. But you don't even need something that crazy. There's actually tools out there that will allow you to go from HDMI to USB, so that way it shows up as a webcam on your computer. So using a tool like that, it's going to give you a little bit more control, because now I can dial in this EOS R for exact settings. I'm getting the better quality sensor, the better quality optics. So that's why, you know, other than, you know, the internet compressing everything, if it makes it look worse, the feed that I'm getting right now is a very, very high, you know, high res feed that's going into the board and then out as a webcam. It just shows up as a webcam. I choose it, and we can do stuff like this. So I definitely highly suggest that. And if you need more information on any of those tools, there's like 4 or 5 different ones that are out there that I've purchased and I own. So if you need suggestions on those, just let me know. There are also a few cameras that have that feature built in. The Sigma, their new L-mount camera, that will work. So you can actually just plug it in and it'll work as a webcam. I believe that some of the Panasonic ones, some of the camcorders have some of those features, like their newer ones. But honestly, the easiest way is just to go from HDMI from your camera, convert it to USB or USB-C, and then bring it in, and your software will recognize it. Number 2 is control the light. Again, we're taking control of all these 5 different parts. So control the light. Right now, so the easiest thing that you could do is go sit in front of a window. So let's say you guys right now, you are the window. I would be sitting here on my camera with a built-in webcam, or if I'm using my camera, or if I'm using an external camera. So I'm typing away here, and then that light is coming in and it's lighting me up, and it's perfect soft light. I mean, window light is, in my opinion, the most beautiful light. So that's the first thing that you can do. And you can also use a reflector if maybe it's not feasible for you to be right in front of a window. You could still use, like, if you have a reflector around, to bring that light just to light up the front of your face. So my setup here is, normally when I first set this up, I was to be this way, facing this way. My camera was there, and I had like a table here, but it was too close in this. But I have my main up here. Up on the ceiling, I have a, actually I could probably show you guys. Up on the ceiling, I actually mounted a light up there, and that's my key light, or my background light, so I can be separated from my background. Temporarily, what I've done is I just have a light panel that's right up here. You can see I'm casting shadow on my face. It is right up here to light up my face, so that way when I'm talking to you guys, it is lit up. And then finally, just the room light. It's daylight balanced, so that way I can just fill in the areas where I'm missing. So I've taken control of the light in this room. I actually went to great lengths to light this. This actually is a window behind this curtain here, but I covered it in cardboard because I didn't want all that light coming in when I was presenting. So I went above and beyond in order to take control of that light. I suggest lighting it like you would a portrait session. I just talked to you about having this. I had this fill light here. I had a background light, or I'm sorry, I had a key light, I had a background light, and then I had my fill light. Those are all portrait things that if you've ever done any portrait lighting, that is something that's very common, that we, those type of lights. The same thing applies to video and webcams. Again, any light source is going to be good, better than just your, if you're in a dark room. If you have any LED panels, some of my favorites are the Solix from Westcott. Profoto actually has one. If you already use Bowen's mount, or let's say you're using Godox lights, like strobes, that mount is the same as the ProMaster light. So you can actually put your modifier on that light that you already own and have this nice big light source to use for your videos. And then the other thing is the Savage. So if you ever see me do live streams at the store, we're actually using the Savage light that I have on the screen, this guy right here, because it uses what's called a V-mount battery. So it's a super powerful light. The V-mount battery is, think of like the drills that you have at home, how that battery slides in there. That's the same thing here, and it can last a super long time. Also, this is RGB. So if I need to kick in a little bit of color behind me, this light is perfect for that, and it's very, very inexpensive. Build quality is great. But we do have some lights. If you don't have lights or you need that, just reach out to us, let us know. Those are some of my favorites. What questions do we have? I'm going into the questions here, so I'm going to jump over. What do we have so far? So we are, Pam is from Wheelersburg. Hello from Nova, Ohio to Wheelersburg. I'm waving. Jim Summers is joining us from the sprawling metropolis of Wadsworth. I've worked a lot from that Starbucks, actually. Filters would be a good topic. That is on the list, explaining all the different types of filters, why you would use them. We're actually building that content as we speak. Also, Speedlight Basics would be a decent one. I can jump all over that. Love my Speedlights. Talk about, I'm thinking you want like remote, like how to trigger them off camera, modifying them, and just kind of going in like TTL versus manual. Would those be good topics? If so, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Jeff Carpenter, the HDMI capture to USB is such a simple solution. Thank you, Jeff. Also, nudge, nudge, he may be one of our presenters coming up to talk about lighting. He is a lighting ninja. Look him up on Instagram, Ready Light Media. He's doing some awesome stuff. Christopher Gilbert, Chris is our Fuji rep. Hello, Chris. He says video capture device. Yes, so that's what we're talking about. It's a video capture device. And again, I've gotten plenty of them. So if you need suggestions, please, please, please let me know. So let's go ahead and go on to our next thing that we need to do. And that is to get the best audio possible. You'll notice that I'm not talking into like a USB microphone like I normally would. There is, I have a mic sitting back here, but I didn't want to be like just tied to it and, doing this the whole time. I wanted to be free. Like I'm actually presenting. I love, interacting with you guys using my hands. So I'm using a lavalier mic. I'm actually using the Rode system. It's a super, super small system. This is the actual pack itself. And then the other side is just plugged into the EOS R. So super simple. But if you're going to be using a webcam and you're going to be stationary, what I recommend is actually a good USB mic. If you watched any of my stuff from the store the last couple days, like my teacher stuff, that's using the NT USB. So I can keep it nice and close. It's really, really good quality. It's almost like that voiceover quality where it's super, super clean. It's super clean, crisp. It just sounds really good. And they actually just came out with the NT USB Mini, which is a USB-C mic, much, much smaller, but it's only $100. So if you want really, really good quality, definitely check out the Rode, the NT USB, or the USB Mini. With any mic, you want to get it as close to you as possible, so it's not so it's not blocking the shot. So let me grab a microphone here. So let's say this was the only microphone that I had was this VideoMic Pro Plus. I'm not going to want it right here. I mean, that's as close as I can be to my mouth. Yes, it absolutely is. But what I want to do is I want to adjust it so it's outside of the frame. So I have it just about, I don't know, a foot or so away, less than a foot away. It's outside the frame. So it's still going to pick up this audio really, really, really well. But the only thing is, like, I'm moving. That's why I chose this microphone. So you have to figure out the type of presentation that you're going to do, whether it's live streaming or whether it is just a meeting. That's going to determine kind of what mic. But no matter what mic you get it as close as you can without it being in the shot is my suggestion. Now, if you're doing like podcast style, you'll see where people will have the boom mic here because they're doing a podcast, and that's just kind of they've always had it there, and that's just their look that they're going for. One of the YouTubers that I follow, Potato Jet is his name. He has the mic right there, and he doesn't care. Like he wants it as the audio as crisp and clean as possible. So he gets it in close to his mouth and just leaves it there. He doesn't care if it's in the shot. Audio will echo. So what I had to do in this room is I have panels up on the wall, but I brought rugs into this room as well. There's a bed like over on that side over there. So, you know, that's going to help with some of this echo. I put sound panels over there above me. I put sound panels everywhere to kind of deaden that. Like I said, rugs on the ground, and that's something easy that you can do is you can bring some of those rugs into the room, and you can like throw them over a shelf, or you can have them on the ground, and that's going to help with some of the echoiness to get rid of. Because if you don't sound good, nobody cares how you look. Okay, at the end of the day, like we're communicating, and the spoken word is the most important thing to get right. So those are just a couple tips that you can use. And like I said, if you're using your camera, it just makes it so much easier, because if you're doing any video already, you probably already have microphones. Like I already had this lavalier system, and it made it super easy. Like I just plug in one HDMI cable and we're off to the races. We're good to go. So any questions so far? Let's see if we got anything in there. Kristen Houston Demakia says, "Hi TJ." Houston, that's my name. It's my aunt. Hi, Aunt Chrissy. If you're in the Cleveland area, she has a cupcakery in Amherst, the Little Devil Cupcakery. Definitely take a look at that. So let's talk a little bit about controlling the scene. So when we talk about controlling the scene, we've done the audio, we've done the video. So now we've done the audio, the video, and what was I already forgot our other one. Darn it. Audio, video, and our lighting. So now we're on our fourth one, which is the actual scene itself. So everything's looking good, it's sounding good, but now let's talk about the actual scene that we're portraying. So what I had to do is I had to kind of figure out, you know, what looks best in the scene. For me, you know, I'm going to be talking directly to you guys, so I just had a clear background. Now, if I had as much space as possible, I would turn this around so I would be talking to you guys and then build out a background behind me, which depending on how long this takes, I might still continue to do. But you need to take a minute and look behind you. What's in your background? Because that's what people are going to see. People get bored on conference calls and they look. They get really, really close and they zoom and they try to see what's in your background. So you want to make sure it's a nice, clean background, and you don't want to give the viewer any reason to even want to look at your background. Another thing is, don't be afraid to put the cardboard over the windows. So like I said, I put cardboard over this window so light did not come in. If I wouldn't have done that, there would be like this weird aura around me, and it would look like garbage. To be honest, it would look like garbage. Me closing that off, I now have full control over the lighting in this room, and I can control how much in different areas that I want. It's actually, side note, I love my home automation. So it's actually all set up to Google as well. So if I need something to come on or off, I just tell Google to do it and it brings it up. It's like having my own little assistant. It's really cool. Number three, the third point is to frame yourself in the center. So me personally, I'm going to be going back and forth. So that's why I'm over on this third. But for most of the time, you're going to want to be right in the center. You can see in the diagram that I have here, his eyes are directly across, and then you can see right here, right on his chin. That's how you want to be connected, or kind of frame yourself up. You can see the clean background behind him. And then you want to connect with your eyes to your viewers, so that way you can talk directly to them. That's what I try to do. So this is kind of, I'm going back and forth, but when I look back over at the camera, I try to talk directly to you guys. Then the last thing would be to put a backdrop up. So let's say you don't want to clean up the mess behind you. The X drop, which is what I actually show here on the screen in this bottom right corner, super, super small, lightweight, portable, inexpensive way for you to clean up that background. It also has green screen. They have a green screen one. So you can put yourself in a beach somewhere, or just pick a background like a new set. You could easily do that with the X drop, or you could just get a plain color one to just kind of block off all the things behind you. And our fifth, take control of you. I think this is super, super important, that you need to be comfortable enough to be on camera. You know, you got to send it. You got to send it. You got to put yourself out there. I promise. I've been trying to get my wife to do this. We're doing Whole30 right now. And I wanted to kind of document our journey going through that. It's basically you're cutting out sugar and alcohol and a bunch of stuff, a bunch of nutrition stuff. And she just doesn't like being on camera. And I'm hoping, like, the first time I finally get her to do it, she'll realize that she can find that she can get comfortable on there. But I think anybody can do it. The more that you do it, the more repetition that you have, you'll do fine. You'll do great at it. it. You just got to put yourself out there that first time, get outside of that comfort zone. Number 2 is wear comfortable but professional clothes. So, when I get up in the morning, I put my clothes on that you would normally see me at the store. That's what I wear to talk to you guys. If I showed up in a suit, you'd be like, who the heck is this guy? Why is he wearing a suit? Every time I go in the store, he's, a little more biz cash. And so that's what, I'm taking that into consideration with what I'm wearing. So, it's like a Pixel t-shirt. Pants are optional. I am wearing pants. I'll have you know. But the cool thing about webcams is it's head and shoulder. It's like chefs. Nobody ever sees from the waist down. So pants are optional. Be personal but welcoming. I'm sorry. Be personal. Be welcoming. Be you. I think those are the three keys. You'll notice that as I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking about my wife and the things that we're doing. I'm talking about what's going on in this room. It's personal to me. I want this to be like I'm talking to you guys, like you were standing here, like you were like, okay, TJ, I want to do good webcam video, show me what you got. That's the whole idea of why I'm doing these things and the way that I'm doing them. I feel like that builds a level of relationship. Even though I'm talking to a lens in an empty room, I still feel with the comments and everything, I feel like we are communicating back and forth. And that's because I am comfortable enough to, put myself out there. I'm comfortable enough to, be one-on-one and not read off of a script. And I think it works well for me. It might not work well for you, but that's where I have found success in the future or in the past. And finally, don't get super close to the camera. I see, especially right now, if you go on YouTube and type in like Zoom fails, you'll see people that are like on their webcams on their laptops and they're like in typing super close. Could you imagine if I did this whole presentation looking like this? People are not going to want to see that at all. Pull yourself back, get comfortable, find, where's a good place for you. And, don't try to eat the camera. Don't be super close. That just, to me, doesn't make sense and it doesn't look very good. So some bonus thoughts as we are starting to wrap up. The question I get all the time is, I like that. They call it going Porky Pig pants optional. I love that. That's hilarious. Some bonus thoughts. Question I get all the time is, well, my camera has USB. Shouldn't it just work as a webcam? And the short answer is no. That's used for transferring files, sometimes firmware updates of the camera. It's not meant to take the information directly from that sensor and use it as a webcam. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen for that to work. I have seen, like with photo booths, I've done photo booths in the past. Canon cameras tend to work really well with like photo booth software, so you might be able to find some plugins or some software that will allow you to use your Canon camera. But for me, I really like using the USB. The price of those devices has come down. At my church a couple years ago, it was we were starting to live stream more and more, and that live stream equipment is so expensive. Now that we are in 2020, things like the A10 Mini, which is a 4 HDMI switcher with audio inputs, and this, I mean, if we would have gone back 10 years, this would probably be a $1,500 to $2,000 device. You can pick it up for $300. Same thing with a lot of the devices that just take HDMI, they're single input. With the rise of e-gaming and Twitch streamers, these things are becoming more and more affordable. So the other links that I have in here is ManyCam. ManyCam will allow you to do a lot of the things that you see here, where I'm putting stuff up on the screen, emojis, stream to Facebook and YouTube. That will work as well. I'm using StreamYard for this. StreamYard allows me to send to one destination and it puts it out to the other destinations. And then the other one would be OBS Project. So if you're like super geeky and you want to go all in on streaming, the OBS project is going to be the solution for you. You can set up different scenes. You can set up, there's plugins for it. You can multi-stream to several different locations. Like you can put in your server setting. It's really high end. I mean, I come from IT, so I feel like I know what an easy software is, a medium and a hard. This probably falls in that medium area. But if you want to geek out on it, I'm not going to hold you back. I'll even collaborate with you on learning that. So if you have any questions on OBS, ask me. I've done a few things on that. So Pam asks, can you post a photo of your video and audio setup. I can take you through it. This is, I could definitely post pictures on our Instagram feed of this, but this is the Blackmagic thing that I'm talking about. So I could have multiple inputs here, and then it goes from USB-C into my computer that's down here. So if we want to follow the signal flow, I have an EOS R with 24 to 72.8 on it. It goes into, I'm taking the HDMI out. It's going under my desk and coming into that. The audio is simply just plugged into the side of the camera. So just like I were recording in this interview and not live streaming, it's the same thing. And what the camera does is it takes that audio signal and puts it into that HDMI, and all of that feeds directly in. And then I just open up StreamYard and pull everything in. It just shows up as a webcam. I choose Blackmagic. I'm off to the races. I'm good to go. So it's not hard. I mean, it's definitely not hard. Now, I understand a lot of the streaming stuff, so it's easy for me to say that. But you guys have me as a resource. So any questions that you have, I am more than happy to help you out. So how do I get the slides from today so you can get those links? Email sales or social at the Pixel Connection. Either myself, Matt, anybody will be able to get you the link to the presentation. We've had a lot of people taking us up on that. You can follow us on Instagram, reach out that way, instagram.com/the.pixel.connection. And then Facebook, just do a search for the Pixel Connection. You can message us there as well. We will be at the store from 1 to 5 every day, but Sunday. So if you need anything, please let us know. But we're always available. I don't want to say this officially like 24/7, but a lot of us stay up late, and we have Instagram on our phones and we're monitoring that. So there's a good chance that if you catch one of us, we're there all around the clock. So just reach out and we're happy to help you. And I hope I see you. I think we got up to like 20 people tonight at 9. Do not miss tonight's talk with Paul Giroux. He has an awesome project that I want to share with you guys. I want you guys to see it. It's super moving and super inspirational. So hope to see you then, and have a good one, guys. We'll see you.